everyone is doing well out there today. I always seem to have a special guitar to review. Today is no different. But I did finally take the plunge, and I mean finally, like after 30 years, and finally got myself a guitar I've wanted for quite a while. And it's iconic. So let's get to it. It's a brand new Les Paul Standard. Yeah, this is straight out of Nashville, man. I never thought in my life I'd have one of these. You know, you only live once, man. So if you get the opportunity and you want to get something, get it. It was not cheap. This is a Les Paul Standard, and it was $2,600, which is by far the most money I've ever spent on a guitar. It's a Les Paul. It's a Les Paul Burst. This is the 60s model. I've been recording with it. I've taken it to band practice, and I mean, it just plays so nice. I gotta say, there's a lot of psychology that goes into buying a guitar like this. At least there was for me. Can you get a Les Paul shaped guitar for a lot less money? Yes, I have several of them. I've got the two Epiphone Alex Lifeson models, and I've got a Harley Benton, and I've got a Solar, and I enjoy all of them. But there's the psychology of the name on the headstock. There's the psychology of the history behind it all. There's the psychology of the people who have played a guitar like this before you. It all kind of adds up to, I want one. And I can afford one, I'm gonna get one. All right, so let's talk about it. It is a Les Paul Standard, 60s plain top, Heritage Cherry Sunburst, and like I said, it was $2,599. That is no small chunk of change. I mean, it seriously took 30 years for me to say, yeah, I'm gonna finally buy one of those. So why did I choose this model? I wanted a burst. I wanted something that had that 58 to 60 look to it. And I wanted something that looks as close probably as what you could have gotten off the line back in those days. Every burst from 58 through 60 was a cherry. It's a beautiful guitar. It's an absolutely beautiful guitar. I often bring up 5-Watt World because their short histories are awesome. This style of guitar has no less than 3 short histories in the Gibson Les Paul. There's a special one just for the bursts, and there's one for the Beano guitar that Eric Clapton used. This is a modern guitar. This isn't relict. It doesn't have old parts put on here. This is a modern guitar, and that's what I wanted. I'm not looking for a 1960 Les Paul Sunburst. With 5 figures easy, I mean, there's just no way on this planet, and I don't know what I'd do with one. I mean, that's the kind of guitar can you play that thing out? I mean, would you play that thing out? It wouldn't even be like playing a gig. I'd be run over by a truck or something. So yeah, no, that's just not even an interest. So they've got the ones that are made to be closer to the original design, but I wanted a modern guitar that has the feel, has the spirit of a 60s burst. Let's get into some specs. And you know what it costs already. So, I mean, if you're still watching, start saving up. It's what you would expect from a Les Paul. It's a mahogany body. It's a carved maple top. I chose to go with the plain top instead of the flame. And that's a personal choice. The flame is a little fancier, I guess, but I kind of like the simplicity, the straightforwardness of the plain top. It spoke to me. One of the main reasons I went with the 60s instead of the 50s is I like thinner necks. It's got a slim taper neck, and that's more down my alley. I don't mind playing a thicker neck, but if I'm paying $2,600 for a guitar, I'm going to get the neck I want on it, and this is the neck I wanted on it. 24 3/4 inch scale, just call it Gibson scale, and exactly what you would expect. 12-inch radius fretboard, so it's going to be flatter than your standard Strat, but again, it's exactly what you would expect if you were trying to find a Les Paul or a Les Paul style guitar. It is an Indian rosewood fretboard, so it is rosewood. These are all just, you know, your standard Les Paul specs. 22 frets, medium jumbo frets, Graphtec nut. We'll talk about the nut a little later on. It's good. It's got acrylic trapezoid inlays. Let's take a look at those guys. Nice. It's so funny because it's so Les Paul that you're just like, that's a Les Paul. That's what I asked for. That's what I got. It's a Les Paul standard, so it is a standard. So before we leave the neck, it's also a mahogany neck, obviously just like the body. 22 frets, I think I said that already. Glued in, obviously set neck. Yeah, it is everything you expect from a Les Paul. Tune-o-matic bridge, ABR aluminum bridge. ABR, so it's aluminum bridge, lighter weight. It's classic and standard. Aluminum stop bar, like I said, and the tuning machines. These are Grover, Rotomatic, kidney buttons. Pretty standard, again. See right there? I don't know if you see that. Yeah, they work. They're good. They're better than the stuff I get off the cheap guitars I'm getting in here all the time. They feel more solid. Yeah, so the hardware is beautiful, shiny. There's a single binding on the body and on the fretboard. And it's very nice. It's interesting. It's not a, you know, 3-layer or 5-ply or anything. It's a single ply, which again harkens back to what they were making in the late 50s and 1960s. There are some human issues I can feel with this in that it doesn't feel like the binding necessarily lines up perfectly with the body all the way around. Most of the place it is, but I mean, right in here, I can feel like a little shelf almost. And we're talking way less than a millimeter, but you can feel it with your finger, you know what I mean? It is nothing that would keep me from buying a guitar like this, and there's a reason for that. That human touch of non-perfection actually works for me in its own way, and that might be psychologically trying to justify an issue with it that some people think shouldn't be there, but I kind of like it. I like the human touch on this guitar. We'll get there. We're not ready for that yet. Electronics. These pickups are awesome. First of all, they're low output, and I'll measure them again and put the output here or here. They're vintage. They're somewhere in the 7 to 8 range. And they're not like the modern Seymour Duncans that I really enjoy, that I always put in the guitars that I buy, that have twice the output. But man, the sensitivity on these things, I mean, you can pick real quiet, and it is real quiet. But if you start hammering those strings, it picks it up. It's really attuned to dynamics. I mean, more so than any pickup I ever recall playing before. These pickups are spectacular. Obviously, they're modeled after original PAFs. Standard layout for a Les Paul. You got volume, volume, tone, tone. Again, gives you some variety, gives you some things you can do with your switch, which is treble, both, rhythm. This is straightforward. There's no push-pulls here. There are no switches, only the pickup selector switch, straightforward, no gimmicks, you know, just bam, there it is, play it. You have enough here, and again, with the dynamics of those pickups, to really play different styles. And yeah, it's got versatility considering the simplicity of it. So came with a hard case, as you saw earlier, which is now under the table. So this is everything that was in the case. Big old bag of the good stuff, man. Yeah, which, let me tell you what, in Colorado, I don't need that stuff. Warranty card, I should probably use this. Inspected by 12. Number 12. Thank you, number 12. What is this? Oh, duh. Keys to the case. I did check out the serial number on this thing. It was made in October. So it's, I mean, this is a fresh baby right here. Yes. Wipey rag will be used. What is this? Ooh, Gibson strap. Okay, yeah, we were wondering. Does it have a strap? Yeah, it does. It's hidden in the bag there. Gibson strap. Little bonus. It's got the Gibson handy dandy guitar tool, which I already have one because it came with the Explorer there. So I have two now. I can keep one with me and keep one in my toolbox. Oh, yeah, one of the very important things that I failed to mention with the burst finish, gloss nitrocellulose lacquer. And this is one of those things that, man, you want to start an argument on the web. Discuss that versus the polyurethane. And I'm not going to start that argument. I'm going to tell you, I like the looks of it. One of the arguments about it is it's a thinner, more porous type of a finish, so the guitar breathes more. That's a statement I've seen online. Whereas the polyurethane stuff, it kind of cooks everything in. It's thicker, and you could argue glossier, but I don't know. Let's get into ratings. I mean, where should I start here? 5 out of 10, really? I mean, 5 out of 10? Let's start at 5 out of 10. The neck is just, it's pure butter to play, man. It is so nice and low, and I have not adjusted a thing on this guitar. I haven't even changed the strings, which for me is always the first thing I do when I get a guitar. So the finish, 1 for the finish, easy, just. This is what you're dreaming of as like a 16-year-old, you know, when you're like, oh, I hope I can get a Les Paul someday. That was me. I was that kid. I'm tempted to go +2 for the pickups because they are so fantastic. Here's what we'll do. We'll do the pickups and the electronics. You know I like the electronics because they're simple and they mimic the original Les Pauls. So we're going to go +2 for the pickups plus the electronics. And that brings us to 9. And that's where I'm happy. I'm happy with 9. And I'll tell you why. There are imperfections in this guitar. There was somebody involved in this process. And that human touch, I'm good with. So we're talking about the nut, and the other issue is, and I can't blame the nut itself for this, it's the tuning issues with the Gibsons. I mean, and I'm experiencing it myself now. It's the D and the G string just bind up in the nut. They do, but it is prevalent. I mean, go do an internet search on tuning problems with Gibsons, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. There's another link I'm going to put down below to something, I think it's called Nut Juice. Yeah, whatever, cute, right? And I think I might try that first before I do anything else, before I start modifying the guitar. With the nut issue and the binding issue, 9 out of 10, we're good. And this may be me justifying paying this much money for a guitar that's not perfect, but I don't mind that human touch. I don't mind not being, you know, millimeter perfect. It is very human perfect enough for me. I'm not going to get hung up on those issues because it is an amazing guitar. When I played it out the first day I got it, yes, it was ready to rock, dude. This thing was ready for Madison Square Garden the day I got it. It is absolute ready to rock. And that's more of the psychology you get with one of these things. And I've said 1,000 times, how your guitar looks is important. And this thing looks like $1 million. I mean, it just looks like that guitar that your guitar player played back in the day when you were learning how to play guitar. You know, the list of people who played one of these is extensive because everybody's played one. There's something about that. When I was playing this thing at practice, I felt like I was a better player. Is that psychological? Yeah. Is it crazy? Probably. But if you feel like you're playing better, in your mind, this placebo effect, whatever it is, you're playing better. So I have no problem dishing out this kind of money for this guitar. Who is this guitar for? This is for professionals. This is for people who, like me, may be getting a little up there in years and have always wanted one and never gotten one, but can afford one now. I think the more important thing, though, is who is this not for? This is not for beginners. I would never recommend a $2,600 guitar for somebody who hasn't, you know, picked one up before. If you have been playing guitar for a couple of years and you've been playing Epiphones and stuff, and you think you're ready to step up and you want to be professional, this isn't a bad step. But make sure you have the money and make sure you really want one. If you don't have the money, don't buy one of these. I have some issues with Gibson in general because they just seem to be so litigation happy. I don't get it, and I just will not tolerate over litigation. I have my reasons. I think I've covered everything, believe it or not. And I'm happy. If you've always wanted something like this and you just were like, I don't know, is it good enough? You tell me now. I've told you what I think of this thing. I will not make the decision for you. That's a lot of money. If you don't want to spend a lot of money, go get an Epiphone. But if you want the original article, you know, something that it's almost like an investment, I am very happy with it. 9 out of 10, easy. Doesn't make me breakfast, and it does have a few little flaws, but worth the cost? Absolutely. Yep. All right, we're going to wrap this up. Please keep making music. That's what this is all about. And I don't know what it's like where you are. Middle of winter here, we get really dry, so stay hydrated. That's important too, so keep making that music. I hope everybody's doing... I can't even speak. First 5 words I have to speak, and they're all messed up, so... And I'm running behind now, so let's get moving here. Simulated bone or freaking awesome. Man, thirsty as hell today. I need to get moving. What is that? Where is that? I don't even see it. Okay, there. Get down, get funky.